And good morning and welcome back to another edition of Jedi Academy. Hey everybody, hope you're having a great Saturday morning. It is early. Hope everybody's got their breakfast sandwiches and cereals and orangutans and orange juices and bacon. I don't know, whatever makes you happy for a Saturday morning. But welcome to the Jedi Academy. I'm Ranger J 1999. I'll be hosting and get everything rocking and rolling. I've got Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, in the background who will be scooping up your questions. And if you're wondering what is the Jedi Academy, well, it isn't a bunch of old Jedi sitting around making decisions about the Jedi Order. It's actually a wonderful group of YouTubers and game changers for the game Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and this is a Q&A show. If you have questions, all you need to do is put it in there. You can ask any question you like, and we will get those scooped up. Now, the best way to get your question scooped up is put question in front of your statement so that we can scoop it up faster. Because sometimes if we don't punctuate their questions correctly, we miss them. So that's the best way to do it. So good morning, everybody. Happy to have you here. Let us introduce the panel. Let us introduce everybody, starting with, of course, the lovely lady of the Jedi. Jedi Master Dastra. And she's not saying anything.
She's in awe of the stream.
I guess. I mean, she was just here, Dr. Finn. She was saying.
I'm here.
Oh, there she is.
I was wondering what was so quiet.
My God.
I guess
Fashionably late, as every Jedi should be.
What happened?
Jedi Master Dastra. Strong with the Force. Not with the mute button.
No, I was gone. I wasn't even on the call.
Oh, you were actually gone. I was just,
You
oh,
joined.
wow, that's weird.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I was looking, I'm like, I see her symbol there, and guess I'm like, well, I guess she just doesn't want to speak. I mean, fine.
So, hi.
Aha. Alrighty then. And then, of course, joining us, you know him, you love him. He's like that uncle you can't get rid of on Christmas morning and because he stayed over the night before and drank too much. It's Warrior from Warrior Presents.
What's happening, y'all?
Hey, what's going on, Warrior?
Not a whole lot. Just hanging.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I'm doing. Oh, I know you're. I'm good. I know you're busy. It's the holiday season, and I'm sure the beds are flying out of your store like crazy.
Yeah, pretty busy.
The holiday season. Now, are you offering any good sales on mattresses right now?
Always.
Someone who does love a good sell, and even though she's in Canada, we don't hold that against her, is the maple syrup ketchup chip eating person herself, the lovely T Money G's here.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure the coffee is strong and the maple syrup's flowing.
No, it's a roll out of bed and grab a Diet Coke morning. That's what it is. I do have some coffee brewing downstairs. I had enough sense to pour a cup of water and a scoop of coffee, and so that'll be where I am when you try and find me in 10 minutes.
I know, right? I've got some coffee brewing. I'm going to go grab some. How you been, T?
Good, yeah, really good. I haven't been on in a few weeks. I missed, and then you guys didn't run because of Thanksgiving, and so I'm eager to be here.
Yes, we're glad to.
Thanks for having me.
We're glad to be back. And then last we've got from Zalo. He's always with us. He's always hanging out on the lunch streams when he can. Zalo takedown with my young apprentice.
What's up, guys?
I heard my apprentice.
Yeah, we're always hanging out in the mornings together. This is my boy.
That's right, my apprentice. Practice your first choking on your father. In fact, you will answer the questions today, my apprentice. He's all excited, like, yes, I will. All right. So go ahead and get your questions in, and we will get that going. So, guys, we're well, we got 2 new characters this week, of course. I know Jedi Master Dasher probably didn't care about the Jedi. She didn't do anything with it, so we won't talk about that one. Uh, no, I'm kidding. I'm sure she's
Yeah,
like,
it's just that level 1.
Yeah.
yeah,
Seriously, let's not talk about that Jedi at all
yeah.
today.
We don't need to. You know what I mean?
Jedi Master Daster, she probably hasn't even had a chance to play with her yet.
Yeah, it
right?
it hasn't done anything. Just as like,
Yeah.
you know. I mean,
Yeah,
it's Gear 12, 7 stars, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, come on.
How many battles did you fight from first place
Probably
last night,
500.
Adastra?
I may or may not have used a bunch of refreshes, so I could do a lot of arena battles. I love to do that when I get to test something out and try different combinations and have like a couple other shardmates that will then give me feedback when they attack it. They'll let me know like this was really easy or this was difficult or so. I will figure out the perfect Jedi comp with her eventually.
That doesn't surprise me. No. The light side is strong with Jedi Master Dasher. Also, we finally got our logging character of the month. It is Ewok Scout, right? That's the character, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the little tease that we figured out. Pretty much that it's C-3PO. I wonder who we will need to use to get our C-3PO. Anybody think it's going to be Ewoks?
Yeah, just maybe. Just maybe.
Mm.
I'm gonna be of the category of what works minimum level wise if it is Ewoks, because I do not have high level Ewoks.
Well, let me tell you a story, Jedi Master Dasher, about this young man from a way back when that tried the same crap with this character called Thrawn, and alcoholism was soon discovered afterwards, as he spent nearly 7 hours trying to beat that event with minimally geared Phoenix. So good luck with that.
Uncle Ranger, also tell us the story about Chewbacca.
Well,
that's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, me too.
Once upon a time, the alcoholic ranger person decided to face Chewie without a 7-star boss. And he thought with better geared, just bounty hunters, that he could win. And then 9 hours later, he learned his lesson that no, that was not the case. So, I feel, Jedi Master Dasher, that with the Ewok event, if you try this, that you will fall to the dark side of the Force. I'm just trying to warn you right now, Lady Dasher.
Well, I appreciate the warning, but I'll be okay.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay, I'm just trying to look out for you.
Yeah, my Ewok elder will carry the team if it's Ewoks.
And this was another episode of Jedi Master Adastra Ignores Uncle Ranger.
So business as usual. Got it.
I do what I want. I will do 500 battles with this new Jedi and spin crystals. Goodness. Any thoughts on Karth? Well, let's go to the new Jedi.
Oh, there was another character? What?
Yeah, there are other characters outside of Jedi in this game, Lady Adastra. I didn't know if you were aware of this. Any thoughts on the? Okay, Lady Adastra, what's your thoughts on the new Jedi?
Oh, I thought you
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I know you're just brimming with excitement to talk about it, so please. And everybody really don't know. Really, what is your assessment of the new Jedi?
Oh well, I mean, I've only gotten to do 1 day's worth of battles, so
okay. Well, initial assessment overall. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like the kit. It has potential. I mean, out of the obligatory, because she has a Jedi and Old Republic role, that she would add more to the Revan lead, the extra 5 speed, extra 5 offense, extra 5% crit chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you're having trouble outspeeding like an opponent's Revan, that'd give you that initial leg up. But otherwise, it's kind of tough taking out someone in place of her because you've already got some of those core Revan squads. Like, it's hard to justify, taking someone out that's already working so well. So that's why I like the idea of her having her with a Bastila lead, or she's honestly probably gonna be best with the Old Republic squad because I feel like she'll add more to them than the Jedi squads. As painful as it is to say. I mean, I'll still keep trying with Jedi, but I feel like she'll find a good home with, Karth and Big Z and Mission, and, they have some pretty cool synergies together. So there you go.
Yeah,
Segue to Karth for you.
I mean, he picks up a taunt when someone goes under, and she drops a taunt when she goes under. So between the two of them, you have to hit one, and then once she goes under, she goes stealth, gets mean, does more damage, and Zalbar picks up the taunt, and he's got the highest, armor rate in the game. Like, he's worse than Sith Trooper. Has the highest protection pool, I believe, in the game too. So, like, just nutty between the two of them. I could see that being an absolutely frustrating team to try and beat.
Well, great. The light side gets better and the dark side sucks now. I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm out, Finn. Go to, you know what? That's it, Finn. Shut down the show. Shut down everything. We're going to go play, what is it? What's the cat game that Kyrie wanted us to play?
Pokemon Go?
Kleptocats.
Not Pokemon.
No, Kleptocats.
Kleptocats.
She wants me to open up Kleptocats so she can see what cat that I get when I go to the ACS run.
That's true.
That's part of what she wants me to do.
That's true. We need to do that.
How can I say no to her too?
You cannot say no to Kyrie. She is too ridiculously cute. I couldn't even say no to her. It's like, Uncle Ranger, like, yes, Kyrie, could you go beat up those guys? Yes, I'll do it right now. Don't you worry, young lady. I'll do it. Now, what about old Karth? Who's got some thoughts on him?
He's going to make some teams really, really interesting with his use of dots. Because we were just talking about how Zalbar would work well with Juhani, right? And then Mission and Zalbar with their use of dots under a Karth lead is also very, very interesting. Now, you can add an Ordo who's also dot-based with that. And I think you have kind of the Old Republic team that ends up kind of forming with regards to all the new characters with the Karth, Ordo, Mission Zalbar, and Juhani. And that should give a lot of cover. Now, obviously, you lose the combination of Vandor, Chewie, and Zalbar, which is also really, really annoying, which may bring to light a kind of a resurgence of the solo squad. So you might bring back young Han under that Kira lead as a potential territory war defense team. It'll be interesting to see how it works because, I think people were getting used to the Kira L3 Mission Zalbar and Vandor Chewie combos. So we're getting a couple of decent teams. It's still, I guess, to be seen which one is a little bit stronger on defense and what the counters are and what to be seen. But I do like his leader ability kind of causing, I'm going to call it chaos, but it's just giving everyone an opportunity to put characters in different leads and see how to utilize some of their aspects a little bit better. Because you didn't really make a whole lot of use of the dots outside of just Mission and Zalbar with that Kira team. A lot of it was just the recovery under Kira's lead with the protection and all of that, since Mission was an attacker. You had the tank, and then you had the Rezer. This is actually a dot-focused team, and Team Money knows because I suggested this team. I love trying to find dot teams that work. In one of her Operation Metaverse streams, I had suggested, I think the team was Vader, Wampa, Gamorrean Guard, Tusken Shaman, and Sidious that we play around with. It's a fun team to play around with, especially in Galactic War, because you get so many dots and stuff that you can stack, and I played around with it in Rancor. It's just all kinds of dots that start to stack. But in Territory Wars, it really doesn't work out. So I really hope that the dot team does finally kind of make a resurgence, because it's been a long time since Vader lead has ever been prevalent, and that was the last dot-based team.
I need to ask a question, and it's a lore question.
Oh.
And I have not told you this, Ranger, but I have started to play KOTOR, which is
now I'm leaving.
A fantastic freaking game. It
is
really?
I
Holy moly! What an amazing game it is. I'm completely stuck in the Vulcar base right now. That's for another time. But usually, light side teams, light side squads, are very buff based. Like they self buff, and they don't usually have a lot of like debuffs happening. But this is like, I'm just looking at all of the characters who have damage over time effects, and pretty much it's like a little spattering, and the Old Republic characters, like a little spattering of light side, like Bistan, and then Old Republic. What's that about? What do you think that's about with regards to lore?
Well, I mean, so if you, how can I put this? So let's just take the Jedi and Sith, the philosophies, the Jedi belief of inner focus and selflessness and stuff. Their force powers, although could be somewhere offensive, it was mainly for defense. The Jedi philosophy is you only use your lightsaber as an absolute last resort. It was not the first thing you did, right? The Force was something to enhance others and to protect, right? The Sith were, focused more on, selfishness, and so they were more aggressive, so their power extended to being very offensive. They had the philosophy of take out the lightsaber, kill everybody, and then sort it out later. So their philosophy is like damage and force lightning, force choke, so I mean, and so that's kind of where that idea comes from. And then you've seen it in a lot of games, right? For the longest time, what distinction, like if you look at the Old Republic, a lot of the Jedi abilities, whether it's the counselor stuff, it's defense, protection, those kind of things were healing. A lot of your healers, like Sith, can't heal. They just can't. I mean, Jedi can, because it's just the nature of it. And I think they've taken that into the game to be representations of the light side and the dark side. So people that are good kind of do that stuff now, and then
so what's up with the Old Republic characters having these dots though, like being so debuff focused?
I don't know. It's
like a little shout out to the fact that they can go like, Darth Revan on us.
Well, it's also in the Old Republic, a lot of the DPS did stuff like that. Because I mean, this is where this stuff.
Well, just remember, a lot of these guys fell from the light side to the dark side, back to the light side. Not all, but a bunch of them. And so it's almost like they dipped their toe in the dark side, which created this dot synergy, metaphorically speaking. So maybe that's part of it. They wanted to throw a little homage to the fact that some of these guys had a journey that went to both sides, but back to light side, and they're giving us the light side version, but they're you're influenced by the other side as well, and so that's coming out in the dot synergy. But I think the dot teams are going to be great. I think it's going to be Canderous Ordo on the team with Wampa, with Zalbar and Mission, and then he's going to be the lead, the new guy. I think Vader's cool, but I just don't think that with all the synergy that there is with the other team, that Vader would be the lead for the team. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, the thing about Vader too is I've never understood the dot thing with Vader. I mean, Vader is a lot of things, but when I think of a character that has dots, it's not Vader. Vader is just a force of dark nature that just, all right, I can take a bunch of damage. I can take on multiple groups. I'll force choke you. I'll hold you in the air, hit you with my lightsaber, throw my lightsaber around, and just beat your ass. But I never thought like he's not like a Sith sorcerer that would like, I'm going to use Sith sorcery and slowly suck the life out of you and stuff. I mean, Vader is just, he is a tank of tanks. So I don't know. They've done some things in the game that, but I mean, all game mechanics have always had a dot mechanic to them. You can go to World of Warcraft. You had your characters that were, dot oriented. That could do dots over time. I mean, it's just the route they've chosen in the games itself. If you look at the Old Republic MMORPG or Knights of the Old Republic, they did a lot of stuff like that. So I mean, it's kind of, I think they're trying to following a little bit along those lines, and then taking some of their mechanics and then adding to it. So that's the best guess I have, and I don't. I'm not saying that's right. That's just my best guess for you, T Money.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Should we get to some questions? All right. Write this down. Okay. We will start with Jedi Lady Dash. Let's see if let's see here. All right. Got the questions. Got everybody's names here. Blackbeard Premium Lady Dasher says, "What are the chances C-3PO will need Imperial troopers?"
That would make some of you dark side peoples happy, you Empire fanboys. I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't. It's gotta be Ewoks or Jawas, light side.
Oh,
Gotta be light side. Yeah.
I mean, the character login is Scout. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. It would be amazing.
The login doesn't always mean anything.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
gotta be a legendary, and Ewoks make the most sense. I feel like he's gonna have some Ewok synergy just because.
Oh my God! Here it comes. Finn's over there. He's not saying anything, but I know he's just going.
He's gonna be the BB-8 of Ewoks. He's gonna be that support that just sits there, and he probably dances, and then the Ewoks get every buff under the sun. It'll be worse than Revan meta.
Oh no! Don't say that.
Oh my God! If there's a C-3PO Jiggle Belly, I'm just gonna be ecstatic. If all he does is just gyrate for every single one of his moves, that would be the greatest character ever.
Please God, my Christmas wish this year is to not have a C-3PO meta. Please, oh Lord, who I do not believe in, do not let this happen, because I can't spend 3 months with Finn just hey Ranger, look at my, I can't do it. Warrior, you'll have to punch me in the face, really hard.
Well, I mean, so he has to end up with some crazy kit. I mean, look what they did with R2.
I know.
So C-3PO, he has to have something pretty crazy, I bet.
God, oh my God. Watch it be C-3PO and Ewoks.
Just be prepared for the Gear 12 requirements, because everybody has the Ewoks, or at least they've had an opportunity to get the Ewoks. In fact, there's been specific events that have encouraged Ewok development in the past for Zetas. So, if you don't have your Ewok 7 stars and you're playing for 2 or 3 years, then it's gonna be hard on you, because it's gonna be just the last event with Chewie, where everybody required Gear 12. Now, I know people did it but it was difficult, and so it's kind of the staple was suggested for Gear 12 Plus on the actual event log.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be one of those people this time. Because my Ewoks are pretty bad shape. I got a G11 Elder as my best, because I actually used him on various squads, so I built him up a little more. But all my other ones are G7, G8, might have a G9 in there.
Yeah, same here.
Minimum, what's the minimum requirement that's gonna work? How many tries is this gonna take me? But I will do it.
At least the Ewoks have that reviving mechanic, yeah.
If you actually know how to use Ewoks and you have really, really, really good mods, you just might be able to do it. They have some insane synergy, and I mean, they were a staple team for probably the first 6 months of Territory Wars. Not so much anymore, not needed, but definitely for the first 6 months, they were kind of a surprise team we used to always take down one of the meta teams.
Yeah,
absolutely. They can take on just about anything.
Yeah,
that's why they've always been on my list. One day I really did want to build them up for that reason, but it's just other stuff just kept coming. Priority. It's hard. I guess they get priority now, maybe.
That's what they do, right?
Yeah, the only one I won't have even close to done, and I'm not, but Pablo, Tebow, Wicket, Turpa, Elder, Scout, they're all 7-star, like gear 8 to 10. I could easily take them to 10 to 11 because I've been hoarding gear. I just don't want to do it, man. I don't want to do it. I even have like a crap ton of Zetas and Omega Saves, but I don't want to do that. I'm trying to work on other things. Damn it, CG. Stupid bears. God. All right.
And C3PO will have 2 Zetas, if you're wondering. I'm sure. I'm guessing. I'm sure of it because you look at all the. And BB-8 has 2. R2D2 has 2. So he's not legend. He better not be a hero's journey. So if he's not a hero's journey, which he shouldn't be, he'll just be a legendary. He'll have probably 2 Zetas, and that's crazy because I've got a Zeta, but it's going to Pow or someone stupid, probably Bodhi Rook.
How big of a letdown would it be if C3PO is a marquee?
Oh, it's not going to be a marquee.
I have one.
No, it would never be a marquee. It would be a marquee plus.
Oh, God.
At least, like, the only benefit of it is like if you have decent Ewoks, you'll at least be able to unlock the character.
Plus, I love it.
Yeah, exactly, because it's 5 stars, right? It won't be.
Hey, I am not going to be satisfied with just the 5-star one. I'm going all the way.
I know.
But it's C3PO. Honestly, sometimes at Astra, when you just want to like not gear something out of principle, I really like, I'm not into C3PO. He's a treacherous little thing, and I just like I'm
He
not
can stay
okay.
5 stars.
He's like everything that I don't like about the world. He just left on a dime. Yeah. I don't know.
That's funny.
I don't know. I bet he's gonna have some crazy abilities though, too many that we will need him for territory wars. So you will have to have him.
They got me by the kahunas there with a territory war thing.
Or Jedi.
I will look at that because he's gonna have 2 Zetas, and I mean, I'm just trying to imagine what weird kit they're gonna make because they keep escalating with these kits too. Like coming out with these new abilities, these new synergies. So I'm willing to bet he's gonna have something ridiculous.
And it's probably going to be
droids, I guess.
It's probably going to be a droid synergy too, which means that I'm going to have to gear more droids, and it's going to be a ripple effect, I think. But
it'll be the droid leader nobody wanted.
Yeah, oh gosh, right? Meanwhile, a certain one gets ignored, huh? The rework.
Yeah. Your
General
General Grievous is my C3PO.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Oh, God. Think of Christmas, CG. Ranger wants a good Christmas. Don't do this to him. All right, Warrior, next question. Paul Morgan. Question, why do we have a neutral filter for characters and tags for characters that just doesn't make sense?
Well, it doesn't yet because we don't have neutral characters in the game yet, but they're coming. They're coming. Just wait. They don't do anything without purpose, and every time they do faction changes or tag changes for an event. And so obviously there's going to be an event at some point in the future, but they didn't want to do it right before the event or it would have given everybody a red flag. So they just did it prematurely so that way people are like, what's this? And then never mind. And then people are on, a show asking that question months after it occurred. But then we'll forget about it months later when it actually matters. So it's going to matter someday down the road. It doesn't matter today.
Yeah.
But there will be neutral at some point. Obviously, they added it to the game, which means it's something they will do probably in the next year.
Yeah, for Revan, the real Revan. The actual version of Revan that should be in the game, not this Jedi, whatever this
Or like the Old Republic ship tag, too. We all know that's going to be the Evan Hawk, even though there's no Old Republic ships, right?
Could be a neutral tag for that, too. That's a good point, Zella.
With 10 crew members, right?
That's great. I'm gonna start crying now.
Like, you'll need a freaking reference guide to figure out all the abilities.
Oh, God. All right, let's see here. Next question for Finn. Hey, this is from Nathaniel Morgan Finn. It says, will Finn put on his tinfoil hat and Gear 12 Ewoks? Is he even a real Ewok lover? Oh, you're being called out, Finn.
Well, okay. So the first answer is no, and the second answer is yes. So I've said it before. Ewoks are a late game faction because they're not really associated. Now, they may change this month, but they haven't been associated with any legendary or hero character. They weren't associated with a mod challenge back when they did have a character requirement. So working on Ewoks was always a little bit lower on my list than some of the other factions. That being said, I don't think Ewoks is going to be what's needed for C-3PO. I think he's actually going to have a synergy with C-3PO. I think it's going to be Jawas that are needed for C-3PO because there's been a question already with regards to whether or not Jawas are truly light side. They really are much more of the neutral character than anything else. They just take whatever the hell they want. It doesn't really matter. So they seem to fit a little bit more of the light side more, or the neutral side more than anything else. So most legendaries have like the opposite faction, Yoda being the one exception. And ever since Jawas were released from the mod challenges, and mod challenges no longer have a faction requirement, Jawas have had very little use. And a lot of people worked on them before and didn't really have anything to do with them, even though they were just stuck at like Gear 7, Gear 8, which was minimum needed for the challenges. So it seems like the perfect opportunity for CG to be like, yeah, let's make Jawas what everyone needs and see how many people can farm them and gear them up to like Gear 11 and start working on them as a way to get people to spend. Because Jawas or Ewoks, long-time characters in the game, they're definitely going to have a high gear requirement like Chewie. So I probably will end up Gear 12ing Ewoks, but after C-3PO, because I think it's more of a synergy aspect. I am going to start saving up gear for both Ewoks and Jawas until I see what's needed. But I am a real Ewok lover. I have a Wicket on my bed right now. I love my Ewoks. Don't be hating. I just didn't love them in the game as much because they weren't as useful until recently. Doubting my Ewok loverness.
Jawas, because they are just like not really used anymore. I mean, they used to be used against, in the tank. They were one of the go-to against the tank in those early days. And then, like, the Sith raid, you can't... I mean, I throw them in Phase 3 for, like, the filler to reset the turn meter. But otherwise, they don't really take on anything, Chief Nabet, you can kind of plug in as a tank. You can do the Jawa engineer with droids. But, yeah, as Jawas as a whole, they need some love.
No, they don't. They need to be put in a firing squad and have the troopers shoot them. All right. Next question. We will go to T Money from Billy Gunn. Now that 3PO is confirmed, when can we expect requirements to be announced? And are Ewoks a sure bet at this point?
Well, I think Finn makes some really good points. So I would say no, Ewoks are not a sure bet. The reverse, the like opposite, light side, dark side piece, I think is something to pay attention to. I just went and peeked at my Jawas. I have, what was it? So I think a Jawa, like Jawa proper is not 7 stars. It's just 6 stars and I have 100 to go. So that's a little bit shudder worthy. But Ewoks are really not there too, which means it's going to be one of the two anyway. Like I always say, if you ever wonder what the next legendary requires, just go look at one of the top rosters in the game, around 4.3 million, 4.4 million, and see what they don't have. And a lot of times that will be Ewoks and Jawas. So what was the other question? The timing on it. Yeah, so on our stream, was it last week or the week before, we did a calculation and kind of plotted out if Darth Revan, if the kind of rollout of Darth Revan is the same as Jedi Revan, then he will drop in February, and I'm trying to like kind of dial it back and think of when Chewie dropped in relation to Revan this time. It was about a month and a half before.
A month before, yeah.
Yeah, so this might be something around Christmas, usually January. I don't think that they're going to put anything out in January. That's not like a spending season per se.
It's kind of a dead period, right?
Yeah, for all businesses, right? So that's not going to be some time when they're trying to eke money out of us. It's not going to be, we're going to have our partners watching our pocketbooks at that point in time. So I'm thinking around Christmas time, maybe, December the 10th, 15th, maybe a couple of weeks, It's scary now that I say that, but I think it's probably it's not going to be after Christmas. It's probably not going to be in January, and it's probably not going to be right butt up against Christmas in case people are going away. So I'm calling maybe December 15th, 14th, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then we'll get what, Darth Revan and Dark Side February, huh?
Yeah, Darth Revan and Dark Side February. And then I don't know. I still think that I get nervous every time I see these damn ships, all the bounty hunter ships. So,
oh yeah,
for Millennium Falcon Legendary, and if they're going to throw us a curveball, and for those people who are preparing and it's not going to be like Jedi Knight Revan. I'm going to be ready this time. Well, what a great curveball it would be to throw an additional legendary into the mix while we're trying to prep for the rest. Yeah.
Too much.
That's what happened to Chewie too. Chewie was just kind of thrown in there. That's why he didn't get his day in the limelight, because he was just kind of like, oh, by the way, we're going to do this event. It's so, you know what I mean? We got like a 5-day notice or whatever, and it was just kind of up and down. And I've had people tell me he's not even that good. I'm like, he's amazing. The only reason why you don't know that is because he wasn't given an opportunity to be amazing. Like, he was just like walked over. They pushed him too soon and just jammed him in there. And it kind of, that's the only thing that sucks, is they jammed him in there. So don't expect to see C-3PO not be jammed in there. I can see that totally happening. Just, oh, by the way, here's this, and this, and oh yeah, C-3PO legendary event. Side note,
Yeah. No.
Mm-hmm. And it's like you saw how Jedi Knight Revan, he went into Arena and we're all like, oh, he's not that great. And then a week later, we're like, ooh, some of these teams are unbeatable. And then 2 weeks, as we kind of learn about these characters and mod them appropriately and mod their teams appropriately and put extra Zetas on this and that, CLS and Chewie never got that. They just kind of, there was no time for them to kind of develop and have their time in the sun and Arena. So we haven't really seen, I think, what Chewie and CLS, certainly they have like my D mods right now. Like they're strong enough that they can take down teams with them. So they don't need them.
Yeah. I mean,
did you say some people said that Revan wasn't all that great?
In the first week, people were like, "Oh, he's not as OP as everybody said," and certainly, good old Maurice and I, when we played with him, we're like, "Oh my gosh, this character is insanely good." And then he was released, and we're like, "Oh no, we're playing on the test accounts, and they, it wasn't we kind of we thought he was more powerful than he was, but then everybody modded their Revan properly, and we're like, oh no, okay, it's exactly
all these morons saying, oh, he sucks, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm killing it with my Arena. And it's like, oh, well, look at your mods, no wonder you're saying he sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here with that 220 speed.
Remember that people were expecting him to be like super super OP, and like with with bad mods and other Jedi, I'm just like, just wait for it. You'll realize how crazy this guy is. Just wait for it. And I was ahead of the game finally, having all my Jedi. Because now people are like, who do I Zeta? What Jedi is good? And it's like, well, at last. And then I had it for not even a month when stupid fallen Bastila Sean.
Get out of here. It's not even worth mentioning. All right. Next question for you, Xylo. This is from A Zingy. Question: I run Home 1 in Fleet. With it, I run Biggs, TIE Slicer, First Order TIE Fighter Pilot, Phantom, Wedge, Imperial TIE Fighter, and the Command Shuttle. I'm going to be putting HT plus Vader in soon. Who should I have in my starting lineup, and who should be coming off the bench?
Well, first, the capital ship, the home one, it's got to go. You either got to run Executrix or Chimera if you want to be in the top tier of the meta, and then your lineup sounds good and some tweaking here and there. Houndstooth in the starting lineup is a must, in my opinion, and then you maybe want to start with TIE Advanced in the starting lineup as opposed to reinforcements. I like the reinforcements. I use it as a reinforcement, but I'm also running the Geos, and you want to work towards a more durable starting lineup. And then the Ghost and the Phantom, I like that. You can even run the Ghost in the starting lineup with that too as well. I would just start working towards changing the capital ship for now and stick to what works for that and keep climbing with what you can on offense. But home one's not going to give you that top tier team that you want. Like, there's been that back and forth between what's better is Executrix because of the turn meter gain or Chimera because of survivability and durability with the team and turn meter manipulation as well. So I like Chimera personally, but Executrix is just as good. I would focus in on one or the other of those first.
Yeah, so if we put HT in Invader, who would be the third?
I like the just the regular TIE fighter pilot too.
Okay.
Had some dodge, some target lock too on the basic too as well.
Then have Biggs coming off the bench.
Yeah, Biggs, or
then you
Ghost.
Biggs, Wedge, Command Shuttle.
What was his reinforcements again?
A good one.
Well, he said he's running Biggs, TIE Fighter, First Order TIE Fighter pilot in the starting lineup. Then it was Phantom, Wedge, Imperial TIE Fighter, and Command Shuttle as reinforcements.
Well, Wedge is for the buff immunity for other hounds too.
He's
going to want to take that out of there too as well.
I'd get a Boba Fett in there or something. Poe is an amazing ship off the.
Poe's great. My fourth, yeah.
I mean, Poe at Gear 11, just a character. Will one-shot ships. He comes in and it's unavoidable. You can't. It doesn't matter whether they have force. It doesn't matter. He's going to go in there and just rake. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Poe hit somebody for 80, 90K. It's an Imperial TIE Fighter killer for sure, and it'll chip away some of those stragglers that are, a little more survivable, like the bigger tanks or like Sunfac or Biggs as well. It's a good way to get them off the board with Poe. So
yeah, we'd have to look at your lineup a little bit more, Zingy. But if you want to send us a message in Discord, and we can look at it a little bit more. But that gives you an idea of who you should be running. So if you have more questions about that, let us know. All right, back to the top, Lady Adasha. Mr. Space Spear has a question. He says, question, speed primaries were 100% the go-to for arrows. Do you use any non-speed arrows other than offense on Yoda? Do you foresee different types becoming more useful in the near future?
Yeah, good question. It's always nice trying to change it up from the constant speed is king. Unfortunately, there's just really no getting away from that. It's still very advantageous to go before your opponent. But yeah, there's some variables. It'll depend. Like some tanks, obviously you don't need as much speed. You can do a crit avoidance arrow there. I've been stubbornly trying to make defense stats work, like just doing defense sets and defense primaries. But it hurts not having that extra protection, for instance. So that's the other one that I do like to make use of is a protection arrow if it has a speed secondary, though. I don't like using one with 0 speed. Like for my Kenobi, a protection arrow is good for him because he doesn't speed. Some people like him super, super fast, but he doesn't have to be. So he's a good one to change it up on. You can try crit avoidance, protection there. But for Grandmaster Yoda, yeah, I wouldn't deviate from an offense or a speed arrow on him, since that was in the question. You don't want to put a crit avoidance on him or something. That would just be such a waste. But for certain characters, absolutely, speed isn't, it'll depend on the kit and what they're, why do you have them on this team? Do you want them to survive more? Do you want them to be faster, slower? Like you have some of your high damage characters like Chewbacca and Han. they don't need speed, so there you go. Offense arrows for them is great. Your tanks, again, you got plenty of choices of how you can mod them up. So yeah, we're getting, especially as we're getting more of these different kits and synergies, it's definitely opening it up where speed doesn't have to be the go-to, but it's still, high up there. It's going to be hard to ever dethrone speed as king, but it's fun to experiment and try different stuff.
Okay. Let's see. Next question to Warrior. This is from Apropos Woon. Question: for players with a newer account, would it be more beneficial to get both vets for JTR or focused on Revan tunes? Currently, Scavenger Fin and BB-8 are 7 stars.
Well, I hate to say it, but Revan would be the direction to go. Not only is it easier to get the characters required for Revan now, and it will come back, but he scores more damage in every raid. In fact, he can solo the Hat, he can solo the Rancor, and he can do 8 to 15 million in one run in the Sith raid. So that team is kind of like the new top dog team, so to speak, one of the high scoring teams that you should be hyper focused on. Jedi training race still amazing, awesome, but just it's just one of those things where you can start to go for Jedi kind of almost immediately, and Revan's one of those guys. So I if I had to pick between the two of them, because they're both kind of in-game characters anyway, I would pick Revan first this time.
Yeah. Crazy how that used to be, where we used to say, "No, JTR, get the vets. What are you doing?"
Well, another thing too, we mentioned it like right after Revan came out in one of the lunch streams, is that like all three of the characters are gonna have continuation journeys, so it's not like you don't want to caveat one or the other. You want all three of them, right?
All right, let me see here. Next question to T Money. This is from our friend Helenix. Question, bruh. Oh God, somewhere.
Bruh.
Excuse me?
Bruh.
Next, we'll have a talk later.
Bruh. I have my boss, crew, and First Order Stormtroopers zated in Gear 12, as well as many other First Orders at Gear 11. Is it worth investing in Xanadu Blood, TIE Silencer, and Kylo Shuttle now, or am I too late to the bandwagon?
What was the first one? I heard Bosk, Crew, Faust.
Yeah, he says, so I have Boss, Crew, and First Order Stormtroopers zated in Gear 12, as well as many other First Orders are Gear 11. Is it worth investing in Xanadu Blood for Boss, TIE Slicer, and Kylo Shuttle now, or am I too late to the bandwagon?
Silencer is fantastic. He's coming back into Arena, and I haven't quite figured out why yet, but I think it's just people have put the Omegas on him, and he is hitting like crazy hard. My ship chart is quite easy, and so I just kind of like waltz through in there. I'm probably one of the only pay-to-play players, and these silencers are coming out, and it's a very, very strong ship. I used to not have mine in the front lineup because he would, he uses his special when you open. It's not very useful, but he's just hitting so hard when he's maxed that it actually is very useful. It's a tough ship to beat, and I also have a double zated crew, so it just fits really nicely in there. It really depends where we could take a look maybe and see where the rest of your ships are. I would love to. I would already have a First Order team for territory wars, either for offense or defense, if I had the Special Forces First Order TIE Pilot done. It's a great ship. It's just a completely tangential farm that's a pilot, that's a character that's only going to be a pilot, really. I mean, it's a great character, but you just need 5 first order. And really, I don't think I've just told my guild, like, don't anyone farm first order until we figure out what's going to happen with territory wars, defense, and offense, because it's an investment, and there are so many great characters coming out right now that I don't want to see anybody put any more resources into these characters if they're going to, come off and go on to, offense or just be shelved. So I know people are going to disagree with that, but it's the truth. So Xanadu, Blood, like the bounty hunters, I think you kind of just gotta at this point, this is what I'm doing. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait for another like 3 to 4 weeks, and then I am going to go and actively farm whatever meta is kind of settling for ships. There's some amazing ones with Mace. Dasher's running like great ships with Mace and the Jedi and Jedi Knight Anakin. That's probably where I'm going to go, because I already have a lot of those ships, fives, Houndstooth, and Anakin will work at low gear in there too, or low stars in there too. So I would say just wait a few more weeks, but the silencer, you will not regret investing in that at all.
All right. Xylo, next question. Darth Tallywhack Manacker question. Okay, no boss. So what is the Zetas needed to beat the Chewie event with a Bubba led, hoping to have a 7-star Zam to drop in? My weak link is IG88, but I think I'm going to get stuck with him. They are all gear 12. What do you think there, buddy?
With Boba lead and
well,
so
they'll be gear 12. That might be his saving grace, because that's the thing. They hit so.
Oh yeah, or even if he's gonna get Zam up to gear 12 too as well, Zam lead could be pretty good for that as well. Every time the bounty hunter uses a special ability, it places a thermal detonator. So that's and then her speed too as well. So her speed's amazing. She's one of the fastest characters in the game. She'll just be popping those thermal detonators off everywhere, and I love Dengar in that event too, because even if some of your bounty hunters end up falling, Dengar's going to be there just going, placing thermal detonators too as well. So, I mean, even aside from that, and Boba's lead has the detonators as well in his lead, so you could go either or. I mean, I think if you're at gear 12, you'll be fine. Yeah, Greedo's going to be going like a crazy, man. If you got a lot of crit chance on him, he's going to keep popping off, and make sure you mod him at that crit damage, get him that 216% crit damage, and watch him go.
Yeah, if they're gear 12, you have a good fighting chance. Still expect to have to really work it and have RNG go a little bit in your favor, because they're going to go first. Unless you have insane speed.
Yeah.
I think it's like, 300 something speed they have to start off with.
So they're going to go first no matter what.
Unless you have just ridiculous god mods, they're going to go first, and then it's just who they attack and if you survive. Hopefully it's Boba, and then he comes back and revives, and then you get a chance to go, and hopefully you have enough with gear 12 that you're surviving and hitting hard enough that you're decimating them. If they're gear 12, you'll have a good fighting chance, but it's a roll of the dice. RNG, they could just wipe you out, and you're like, damn, restart.
Yeah. Another thing too is like if you're gonna go all the way gear 12, make sure you put that bayonet on Boba and that bayonet on Greedo as well too. Yeah. So he's hitting hard.
Yeah. See, you're doing a blitz, and you're hoping to survive theirs and then just blitz them to win that event. So. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, especially with that lineup, but you should have some good RNG after a good attempt.
All right. Next question. We have one for Warrior specifically, so let me get that one in here. David Rodriguez, question for you, Warrior. Question for Warrior. I have a 6-star Houndstooth, 7-star TIE Advance, 5-star Xanadu, 7-star Phantom, 7-star Ewing, 6-star Landos Falcon, 6-star Starfighter, and 6-star Chimera. Wish I could use all 7, but for now, one must go. Who would it be?
The entire lineup sounded good. What was the second to last ship you said?
I'm going to put this in Skype for you there, buddy, because that's a lot. Give me a second here.
Well, I got it all except for the very last ship.
The last ship? Okay, the last ship was...
aside from Chimera.
6-star.
That was last.
6-star starfighter. That's what it says. I don't know what that 6-star starfighter.
That was what I got confused. And he said Chimera, and I didn't have a time to process it. So clarify the starfighter. Are we talking about the ETA with Anakin? Because if so, him and Darth Vader coming off the reinforcements are ridiculous. I use ETA off the reinforcement, and I actually prefer Vader to come in first, do some target locking and stuff, and then for ETA to come in, he exposes everybody and then does an AoE, which sometimes kills 2 or 3 ships for me.
Nice.
Because there's always like people hiding in stealth mode, but they're injured, but they're hiding, and so he'll expose them and then hit them with an AoE, and so he really cleans up those hidden ships really well. So I wouldn't get rid of him. Cassian's amazing, but if you're going to use the ETA, it'd be better to go offensive versus defensive, in my opinion. And so I would get rid of Cassian's U-Wing for the ETA if that's the one. In fact, if it's not, if it's Ahsoka or someone, there's less synergy with Ahsoka, I would stick with Cassian. But it just depends on who that starfighter is that you're talking about. And then to make that team effective, make sure you crank up everyone's gear and their abilities and their mods. Get their mods to at least gold level, get all their abilities maxed out, and get their gear to gear 11 minimum if they're going to be a crew member.
All right. Next question for Lady Adastra. All right, I guess this is a readdress question from Darth Tallywhack Manacker. Question. Okay, no Bosco.
It's the same question, but his question was asking which Zetas he needed if he doesn't have Bosk with the team that he listed. So if he was running that team, what Zetas does he need to put to beat the Chewie team if he doesn't have Bosk?
None.
I mean,
you don't technically need any Zeta. I mean, the Bubba Zeta helps to make it, less RNG heavy, but I mean, you can do it without Zeta. It's possible. It's still, you guys already addressed that, the RNG of surviving that initial burst, and then just hoping to God that your Greedo will multi-hit and that you can. But yeah, you don't have to commit a Zeta if that's gonna be difficult to throw in. I mean, I wouldn't. I would try it without Zetas, honestly.
All right, there you go.
I mean, Bubba, yeah, that's why I said like Bubba. Otherwise, because I remember when this hit that people were trying it that didn't have Bosk, and Bubba seemed to be the next reliable one, but they didn't always have him Zeta. So I know it's possible without any Zetas. It's still brace yourself. It'll be tough.
It'll be a little bit of a bumpy ride.
We have a video on our channel, Operation Metaverse, that has a whole bunch of it just has footage of, I think it's 12 teams, and there's a number of like non-Bosk leads in there. The majority are Bosk leads, so you can go and look. And I have to recall, but I know who made all of those videos, and it says their name in there, so you could probably even PM them and ask, what Zetas they had for their leads. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question for Lady Adastra from Talon Lee. Question: why Ewoks? All other legendary except Grandmaster Yoda were opposing faction. Also, Rolo was logging character during Chewie, but wasn't used. Good point. What do you think, Lady Adastra?
Well, I mean, it's not confirmed one way or another. It's just, we just love the idea of that because of the tie-in with C-3PO and the Ewoks. I mean, those are some unforgettable scenes. And since they did it once with Grandmaster Yoda, it's not out of the question that they could do that again with the alignment and whatnot. But again, it's all conjecture. I mean, you got the login as Scout, but again, that doesn't always mean anything. It's just heavily implied that it could be Ewoks. But this is CG we're talking about. They do throw curveballs at us. I mean, some good points are made that Jawas could be needed. And then, yeah, who knows? Maybe it will end up being the Imps. I mean, just unexpected. But I'm thinking Ewoks. It would be because they've been kind of building them up in a way, and they can then use the excuse that we all have our Ewoks at this point in the game, so they can have those high level requirements, just like with the Chewie event, and then make people have to build them up more, hoping people will spend, because it's a money game for them. Like, how can they get the players to be interested and spend some extra to get the newest character, So it's definitely gonna be something that so like Jawas or Ewoks, I can definitely see one of them. Is people, I think T Money mentioned this, that people the higher up, like even a lot of us don't even have those characters. So it's like I could see them doing that.
Can I tinfoil hat really quick too?
Oh God.
Chime in.
We're also equating the login of Ewok Scout to the recent hint of C-3PO, right? But there's a lot that can happen this month, and we know Grand Arena is coming too. So potentially, Grand Arena is going to be on Endor, and that's why they have Ewok Scout and Wicket, right? Because that's where all the Ewoks actually fought. We don't really see Ewok Scout in the movies anywhere else, particularly. I mean, it's mainly just Endor, so it's possible Grand Arena is going to take place on Endor if they create like a new map. Because we figured with territory wars and territory battles, they can always just reskin it. And we always were thinking that it was going to be, well, not, I shouldn't say all, but many were thinking that it was going to be Geonosis just because of the way that the whole, what they were doing with Clone Wars and what they were doing with Battlefront, and think it was going to be related here, but we saw there was no Grievous rework or anything like that. So it's possible that the next map could be Endor, and that's what they're trying to relate it to. So you never know. We're trying to, we get all these little hints, and we're trying to assume that they all fit into one puzzle. But we know that there's several different things coming this month, so it may be several different things. So
yeah, only time will tell.
All right. Next question to T Money. For Mirrodin. Question: Jedi Knight Revan and modding. What matters most? Examples of plus with either 19 speed offense primary or 25 speed tenacity primary. What really matters most specifically on him?
What were the two examples of the mods? Tenacity primary with 25, and what was the other one?
Examples: a plus with either a 19 speed offense primary or 25 speed / tenacity primary. What really matters most specifically on him?
Well, I mean, the scariest Revans are the fastest Revans, right? And then, the rest falls into place, I think, when you're looking at your mod statistics and where you can go with them. But it depends based on your shard, based on who you're facing in TW. Really, the stats that we pull when we're wanting to look at how scary a guild's Revans are, it's speed. With Grandmaster Yoda, you're looking at offense. We found a 7,000 special offense. Grandmaster Yoda in a big guild that we faced last week. I mean, that's
terrifying.
It's terrifying, and you're going to have a hard time working any like nest cheese or night sisters. When the AOE can take out all of your gear 12, one or two right side piece sisters at once, you're in trouble. So, for Revan, I mean, speed, so that he's going first and you can kind of get on top and control that battle is really important. When a Revan hits really hard too, it makes a big difference too, especially against those cheese teams. I'll be like, oh, this is going so well. I use a Mother Talzin lead and Spirit, and I'm like, that's going so well. I've got Grandmaster Yoda down, Jolie's down, and then Revan just decides to like crit all across the board on his AOE, and I'm done. So really, the mods that you want to farm right now are offense. Speed, of course, but also offense and offense percentage. When we're bringing them up to 6E, it's a big difference. You can get mods now that are basically like you have an extra offense mod on there because you have like 4.5% offense on some of these once you get them to 6E. So it's that's really what you're looking for Revan. Would you agree, Adastra? Speed and offense.
Don't forget about critical damage, because again, with his leadership, you got those crit chance boosts. So I've always been into the whole damage. I love seeing my Grandmaster Yoda crit for high damage. So Revan, yeah, speed is king. But if you have like a fast crit damage set or a fast offense set, that is the best. Because like you said, his AoE can just murder stuff. So yeah.
Definitely crit damage triangle on whatever set you put on, like speed set, crit damage triangle on him so that he's 180.
Yeah, I mean, it's all relative to your shard too, of course. Like some people, they're going against like 320s Revens, and then so there's some Revens that are running at like freaking 240s or something below. And so it's like, you can definitely just pay attention to how your shard is and just try to outspeed the fastest Revan there. Compare yourself to the other top Revan squads.
All right. Next question to Xylo from Fat Tony 99. Question: is it worth it to refresh the Home 1 event once this next time around if it gets me a 7-star Home 1? Which would also get me 7-star Chimera whenever that comes around again, or do I wait? What do you think, Xylo?
I did the exact same thing myself, so I'd say go for it, do it. It's worth it, and it's not that expensive. It's an 800 crystal refresh. It's not like it's like 1,200 or 1,600, right? So I'd say go for it. Especially also, too, because the Chimera event's due around the corner sometime soon, right? We've been talking about that a little here and there.
All right. Next question, back up top to Wargo 128. Question for Lady Adastra. Doesn't Ness just completely counter Juhani? I can see Ness removing her taunt on the next attack.
Well, to be fair, Nest counters everything. But yeah, that is her taunt. Isn't the best. That's where like people are comparing tank to tank. Like Kenobi to Juhani. There's just Kenobi is superior in that regard. Juhani's taunt, it's on 4-turn cooldown. So we have so many dispellers, not just Nest. I mean, Nest is like the queen plug and play character right there. But there's a lot of dispellers in play. So that's where it's like Juhani's main purpose isn't going to be that taunt. Unless, she's with the Old Republic buddies that we mentioned early on, where she can swap the taunting with her buddies there. So you would need, like, if you were trying to do it defensively, per se, you would need another tank in there. Because, again, 4-turn cooldown, taunt, easily dispelled. She alone isn't going to protect your squad. That's why you can mod her, in different ways. Like, I'm going with the damage route in that. And that's not the question. Oops. Going on a tangent. Yes, Nest is a good counter to everything.
Oh, Lady Adastra. Goodness.
I was like, wait, stop. I'm gonna go too much. But yeah, Nest, again, it's not a fair, because Nest she's the master. You can put her in so many squads and she can just destroy stuff. So, yep, Juhani is no exception to this.
All right, next question for Warrior Brian Bode. Question: what is the Murder Bear team comp?
Well, you don't, as far as actually, doing Zetas and things like that, I'll talk about that as well, but you don't actually have to have any of the Zetas except for preferably Chief Chirpa as the lead. Chief Chirpa's lead is the #1 lead in the entire faction, and it would be the one that I would Zeta because of all the turn meter gain. And then you should have Poplu, you should have Wicket, you should have Logray, and you should have Elder. Elder is critical for revives. dispel, things like that. Low gray is there to absolutely frustrate the hell out of your opponent, or help you survive, especially with all the foresight and stuff. Wicket is there as your damage dealer, and he can stealth whoever you're afraid of losing. So you can stealth Elder to ensure Elder always sticks around, so that way he can revive whoever isn't stealthed and is dying. And then, of course, Pop Blue, your tank, make fast, and there's so much turn meter gain with him as well. And then Chief Chirpa, but that's it. Chief Chirpa lead, Pop Blue, Wicket, Low Gray, and Elder. Tebow's nice, Scout is nice. I've heard arguments for Ewok Scout as a fill-in for Low Gray, but I haven't seen any justification that made me feel like I needed to change my squad out. So the 5 that I mentioned are the ones I think are the best.
All right. Next question for T Money from Travis Anderson. Question: has that pic of C-3PO that Cubs posted in his latest vid been confirmed yet? Because he said at the time it wasn't confirmed.
Well, I don't know if it's been confirmed by CG, so I'll say that.
It was.
And really, these it has been?
Yeah, SB Crumb congratulated the person that put that cross-stitch C-3PO picture up.
Like so we're really at the we're really vulnerable to these like uber nerds who have this propensity to figure out whatever is going on here. I mean, I don't know if you go read the Reddit post if you haven't already, because for me personally, it allows me to understand how not smart I am, because some of these guys are they're just crazy brilliant. So it was like an algorithm within the music that then had to be translated into like some sort of computer code, and it ended up being a cross stitch of C-3PO. So it's interesting stuff. I realized it hadn't been solved, and I have a bunch of friends who are musicians, so I started kind of sending it around and asking people, what key is it in, and like, do you hear any patterns? And but really, it's somebody on Reddit's gonna get it. So there you go. It has been solved and confirmed. Did not know.
I'm insulted. I was one of the nerds that posted it. I'm the one that I made a post that I read the barcode and found the Google code that led to the image that had the code that was for music. I got stuck at that point because then we had to do McVenom's roster review.
Don't be insulted. I just said you're smarter than me, dude. But maybe not if you didn't get
Called me a nerd.
Burn. Being a nerd is awesome. I have glasses that stick out like a good half an inch on either side of my face. I am firmly in the nerd contingent.
I like being a dork. I'm much more a dork.
Being a dork isn't good. Being a nerd is awesome.
See, this is where we differ. I want to be a dork.
That's me. If you're being contrary, it means you're a hipster.
Oh, that's even now. You're really
now that's a bit of an insult.
Now it's over. I don't think I can talk to him.
Not liking something just because it's cool to not like it. That's not cool. All right, moving along.
Next question, what else 73? I think Warrior just answered this. He says, should we Zeta Chief Chirper in order to get C-3PO? Well, I'll go back to you, Warrior. Should you Zeta Chief Chirper, or do you think you might be able to get away without Zeta, doing the Zeta on him?
So don't do anything until we know exactly and get confirmation. Just hold on to it, because if they do decide to go, then you're going to be screwed and you'll have spent it unnecessarily. But but if you think that that's a possibility, then hold on to it. But if they announce it is them, yes, I absolutely would, because that Zeta is a massive bang for your buck as far as turn meter gains, which is going to insanely help with a mod differential. So between mods and that Zeta, you could probably get away with doing the event at like Gear 9, Gear 10 mix because of the Zeta and some really good mods. So you could do like your arena mods plus that Zeta and probably do it at a far lower rate, when it's probably going to say, event is geared for Gear 12 plus and excellent mods, blah, blah, blah. You could probably do it at Gear 9 and 10 mix on those characters with that one Zeta and the good mods. So yeah, I think, but don't do it yet now. And we don't have confirmation. You could do it and then find out that it's going to be, and then you're like sad.
What's up, boys?
You're really good at that. Can you please do that on one of your videos? Because I bet that's pretty cute to see in real life.
Welcome back.
Oh my God. All right, next question for Xylo. Nathaniel Morgan question: will C-3PO and R2 have synergy similar to Wiggs, Chase, Han, Chewie, etc.?
I mean, that's what we all speculate. I mean, we don't know anything now, but that's kind of like the catch. Well, one, two, like if you think C-3PO, you think R2-D2, right? And so you would hope they'd have synergy together. I mean, like we're also speculating that they'll have synergy with, droids, rebels, Ewoks. It's like he's going to be like the Swiss Army knife for all these factions, just like R2 apparently. So we'll see.
We will indeed. All right, next question. Back up top to Lady Adastra. Paul Morgan question: has the development of the game shifted to picking your favorite faction and running that team?
Well, yes, it has.
No, it hasn't.
My favorite faction happens to be the meta right now. Probably should have asked that one to someone else. But oh no, I was running Jedi before they became meta anyways. So I mean, I've always been like that. Play the game how you enjoy it. You have your different levels of competitiveness too. If you're wanting to be rank 1 in arena, you will have to have something that's strong enough to compete. Like if your favorite faction is getting creamed in arena, it's not as fun if you're wanting to be competitive, I mean. Otherwise, if you don't care, just have fun. Use whatever you want, especially with so much stuff they've been throwing at us. Some people I know of just kind of take a break and just put whatever they want in and don't worry about it. Like, just need a breather for a moment. But yeah, play the game how you want. It just worked out for me to finally Jedi or finally number 1. I've dreamed of this day. So whatever faction you love, hopefully that'll end up true too. Unless it's Sith, then no.
Mm-hmm. I will come back, Lady Adastra. All right, Varkesh, question for Warrior. Question: I've been wondering if they will do something similar to Thrawn Capital Ship. They could release Endor, Han, and Land, and have a faction for remaining tunes. Your thoughts?
I think there's going to be probably 2 new capital ships introduced within the next 3 months. And one, I feel this way because we haven't had a new capital ship in a while. So it's bound to happen. 2, I'm pretty confident General Grievous's rework will be coming in Q1 of next year, which is Q4 fiscal for them. And so I feel like either General Grievous or Newt are going to get a capital ship, but I think they're going to drop 2 at one time. And this is why I think this. They like to put people behind the curve. And it's really hard to put people behind the curve when you're not keeping up with the whales. And there's whales like me who have the 4 capital ships utterly and totally maxed. And by the way, you don't even have to be a whale to have that. If you're free to play, but you hyper-focused on collecting the things you needed to max out your capital ships are maxed out. But whales definitely have their capital ships maxed out. And so if you drop a capital ship, they're going to have 2,000 of this stuff sitting around, the prestige sitting around to max it out on day 1. And they want to put us behind the curve, at least for a short period of time. And so I could see them dropping 2 capital ships in short succession in the next 3 months to basically the first one would use up all the prestige, and then the second capital ship would be even better. And it would actually be the one that you don't have your prestige for, to put us behind the curve, and then everybody would be focused on prestige for that second ship. This is totally paranoia. This is totally me just guessing, but that's just my thought, is that there would be 2 ships relatively closely. But who and what, I think Newt and General Grievous are high up there for the possibility, but anyone else, it's open. I don't know what other capital ship possibly would come in.
Do you think that would cause an imbalance, though, since they're both dark side? And then we would have 4 dark side and 2 light side?
I'm not saying that those would be the 2 capital ships. I think between the 2 of them, one of them would. I think either General Grievous or Newt would have a capital ship, and then a second capital ship of maybe a light side capital ship being dropped. But I said I don't know who that would be. But I just think that they're going to do 2, because what happens with ships is, they don't do anything forever, and then everyone's got everything, and then they drop one thing, and it gets totally attacked like a piranha, like a a fish being dropped into a piranha bowl or something, and it's just consumed extremely fast, and then they wait a while and then they drop another ship. And I've noticed them trying to pick up the pace in ships and try to bring out more ships, and that's good. I like that. I wanted more ships to choose from and to have viability for, but to do this, to really get ahead of the curve, so to speak, they have to kind of drop more than we can handle. And one of the ways they did that was when they recently, bumped the new abilities in ships. They had all the old capital ships got a bunch of new levels on their abilities, and everybody was behind the curve. By doing one thing, they put everybody behind the curve, and everyone was behind the curve until just recently, and some people are still behind the curve a little. So that was good for them because it gave us something to kind of work towards and for months. But we're kind of all caught up again, and so I could see them trying to kind of put us behind the curve again.
Well, I think on that note, they have that resistance show. They might line up with that. We could have a resistance capital ship and a dark side capital ship. Could be R2. Yeah, that wouldn't be unheard of to have, back to back like that for the reasons you just said.
That's excellent. For the fourth quarter, which is our first quarter, January through March, they could totally do a couple new resistance characters out of that, out of that show with a capital ship, and the rework of Grievous with a few, reworks scattered through. So it could be new factions, reworks, and 2 capital ships coming from both of those.
All right. Next question for T-Money. Mateus Calvacante question: Rolla was the month login as we needed bounty hunters to beat her for Chewie. So a scout for the month login, will we need Imperial troopers to beat him for C-3PO? Do we blame Finn? Does that make sense?
I'm so sorry. Read the first sentence again.
It says something about needing an hearing aid, and then I lose track of it. No, it says Rolla was the month login.
Oh, Rolla, okay.
Yeah, and we needed bounty hunters to beat her for Chewie. So with scouts for the month login, will we need Imperial troopers to beat him for C-3PO? And do we blame Finn? Does this make sense?
That would be very cute. That would be very cute to see like C-3PO surrounded by a bunch of Ewoks fighting together. I haven't thought about that. I like that idea quite a little bit. Yeah, that's neat. I love piecing together these puzzles that they send us, like I think it shows that they, that they, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a marketing tactic. It just feels like we're playing the game with them, I like it a lot. But that's a really cool idea. And especially, Rollo being there is like, what are you doing there, Rollo? But yeah, indeed, if that would make a lot of sense if C-3PO and the and God, if it could be the Imperial troopers, that would be wonderful. I just gear 12 a bunch of mine, and they are stacked. They are stacked.
You just stated the inherent problem.
The same.
What's that?
The fact that Imperial troopers have been around so long, they were used to be the counter against Night Sisters. They're used in Darkside territory battles. They were used as a counter. There's no money for them.
Just let me have this.
There's no money in it for them. Too many people are going to have Imperial troopers that really high gear.
I completely agree. The formula does work though, but it's good. I think it is going to be Ewoks or Jawas for that reason. But
yeah, absolutely, they got to make us work for this.
Yeah. What were you saying, Warrior?
Well, they could still do the Imperial troopers, and what they did with the other one is they made it to where it was almost impossible, not impossible, but nearly impossible with the existing, bounty hunters. And so it really, Boss Gazeta Lead was like the kind of the caveat that made it easy. Without it, it was difficult. And so they could introduce like a couple, Imperial troopers that we totally out of left field we're not expecting, that with them makes it all easy in the world, and without them makes it exceptionally difficult, even with Gear 12 characters. Who knows? If you fought the Ewoks in the the mythic event, that there's a certain composition of characters that works really well, but there's other certain compositions that don't that can get smoked. If you took in just Imperial troopers without like range trooper, for example, you wouldn't win on the mythic tier because it's so good. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe it has to do with Anyway, that's an interesting theory. I like it.
And the difference between, like, I just gear 12'd, I took Veers, Stark, and Snow to gear 12, and the difference in that team, like, it like kind of doubled their everything. It's just makes it's just such a strong team when you take it up that notch. So I can see it being, if it were to be that, yeah, you would need gear 12, you'd need bayonets, you'd need certainly the Zeta on Veers, you might need the Zeta on Stark, and range makes a lot of sense too, because range basically, makes that team, 60-70% better. He's incredible. I don't have him at 7 stars. I really should, but there's so many hard nodes I'm farming right now. It's stupid. I have him gear 11, but yeah, he's fantastic. So, ooh, that would be great, but not range. Just let me gear 12 everything else.
All right. Next question for Xylo from Brian Bode. Question. So I'm running Revan with offensive crit chance. Should I be running speed? Xylo.
Yeah, speed. Like, I tried offense, I tried crit damage. Speed's all the way. I mean, I like the damage output for raids, but speed is everything. And you even notice the difference in the raids too, actually, with damage output and the amount of turn meter and the chances that you go. Speed's everything. I'd go speed.
More speed. All right, back to the top. Wait a second. Okay, question for Lady Adasha from Nathaniel Morgan. Question for Adasha. Better tank under Basila, Old Ben or Juwani Mon?
Man, I'm hearing all kinds of weird names for her lately.
Better than Grande.
Jumanji is another one.
Jumanji. I keep saying that by accident.
Yeah, Grande calls her Hermione.
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 Well, Juhani. I haven't been able to really test too much with Basil yet, but I do like the idea of her with that, because she'll get the starting taunt at least. But compared to Obi, I don't know, because again, it's limited testing. It's hard to say. Obi, he's an established, everything to do with him, how he works. But one thing, though, to consider is having 2 tanks with Basila. I find that's usually the stronger combinations anyways. So you could have Obi and Juhani, and there you go. You'd have a cool pair there. But for a pure tank purpose, Obi-Wan would be better. His taunt, if he's Zeta'd, his taunt would be harder to get rid of versus hers. It's easier to get rid of. But for a character to character comparison, she would be superior. At least I like she actually dishes out some good damage. Like, I can do, for a tank, over 30k on her basics. Her AoE can do like 20k per, so it's pretty useful. I guess it just depends what you'd be using them for. Because again, Obi-Wan's TMR, his, ability block special is pretty handy, except if you're going against the stuff that doesn't have any effect on, it's pretty pointless. So I just recommend messing around with it. I mean, I'm going to do more extensive testing, so I wish I had something more for you, but again, it's early stages. I think there is potential, though, for sure, for her with Bastila. Having her with another tank too, I think would be the best. Yeah. Gotta resist going on tangents here.
All right. Next question for Warrior from Remy Vinette. Question. We know Grand Arena is due this month, C3PO2. That's a lot for them to add the OT Falcon on top of that. What's your thoughts?
Old OG Falcon being added, probably. I mean, they're going to be adding the last piece possible. And by the way, I'm echoing in someone's thing. Someone might want to mute. Throws me totally off when I can hear myself. But anyway, I don't know. I think so. I mean, we needed Han, which we have. We needed Chewie, which we have. I think that they would want to bring back the Chewie event again. So everybody that didn't get him the first go around, that's been focused on him for the second go around, would have a second opportunity to get him. And then not sure if they would be integrating C-3PO into that ship, and if they did, if they would wait for the ship to come obviously after C-3PO or what, I don't know. And that way, if they did that, everybody. I don't see a need why he would even be needed for that ship, but possibly, who knows? Like I said, I don't know. Sometimes they do things to. I mean, the other Falcon, has multiple crew members, so I could see that as well. But I could see that ship coming. There was something on Reddit about a possible leak of that ship or whatever in this quarter, and so who knows if that was actually real or not. We'll see. I guess we'll find out. But I think everybody knows that people want that ship, and that eventually will come into the game for sure. Just timing wise, not sure. There's a lot going on.
All right. Next question for T Money from Miro Yevchev. Question: do you think these events with Gear 12 gear requirement cripple new players?
I think that I think that the ones where there has been a Gear 12 requirement, there has been an allotment for 5 stars, right? So I mean, so far that's been Chewbacca. Anything else? I think that's been the main one. There's been some, the mythic events and such are difficult, but that's just something to shoot for and something for us later game players to still have fun with, right? I think that we want the game to be healthy, and part of that is keeping all of the folks who've been playing since day one here, and you got to give them something to do. So I don't think it's crippling for new players. I think that a really surprising thing we saw looking at a lot of our alt accounts, our ticket pigs, is that there are a ton of Revens on all shards. And someone who started 4 months ago, I think, which it must have been, they were the first group to do all of the Old Republic marquees. So, you come into the game and you get all of these, characters for free. Of course, you're going to continue to farm them. And they had something like 30 Revens on their 4-month shard. So it's, when I hear things like that, I think that I kind of I have some faith that the company is doing good at like pulling the new players along and keeping them in the game by giving them access to all of these treats that we have now too. So yeah, it's kind of a balance. Good old Maurice made the point the other day of, Enfys Nest being on that last node of ships. Well, you cannot get to that last node of ships until you have a nice contingent of ships and maybe even, the Geonosians. There's some more options now. But, when that opened up, I walked through that with my Geos, whereas a lot of folks struggled to 3-star those battles. People who are, have 3.5, 3.8 million GP. So, it's something to work for and to look ahead to, rather than just kind of giving people all of these characters and when they don't have the mods for them, when they don't have the Zetas for them, and when they still have to farm the gear for them, right? It's getting a new faction means you have to have what is that? You have to have another 30, 40 mods, nice mods to make them worthwhile. So it's not really useful. So I hope that answered your question. I think it's okay. As long as they're 5-star characters, you can get access to it, then it's fine. Now I'm echoing.
Question from Darth Tallywhack Manacker Question for you, Xylo. Sorry I missed it. Why was Wicked a reward in achievements?
It's for that Wicked event, right? The monthly event that gives you the Zetas, right? Like they had one for Mother Talzin when she was released back, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of like a filler. Plus, it also may be a lunge towards C-3PO as well. Like, oh, well, that's like a pivot point achievement, unlocking that character that, gives you these Zetas that we fund every month. And, they gave the character shards away like candy, like we were saying the other day. They give you 10 shards every time the event comes around. Plus, you have the note to farm them on too as well. So they want to make it to that point where it's like a goal to strive for and to work towards the Ewoks as a faction in general. And some Omegas as a reward for that too is a great plus.
All right. Next question back to Lady Adasha from Nuja Gan. Question. I could break off my aura farm to finish off some Ewoks. I just have a hard time justifying spending my arena resources to not be farming ZB and HT, etc. Please advise.
Well, again, we should wait to hear confirmation before you do anything yet. So it'd be best to just hold everything right now until we know exactly. It's all speculative that Ewoks are going to be the ones needed. So don't, wait to commit resources to that. So just kind of put things on pause if your Ewoks are really lacking, which, I'm in that same boat. Is I'm going to look at my Ewoks and see where I stand, and I will save gear for them just in case I need to elevate them up more to stand a chance at the event. And this is, again, if Ewoks are the required ones. So I would advise you to do the same. Continue, although I'm not sure if you mean farming them too, that you may not have even 5 Ewoks available to go. Then that would be a little tougher to say, to divert your farming resources to that too. We should hear pretty soon what's required. So don't jump ship off of all your stuff you're doing now. Just hold the gear, but you can continue shard farming if that's what you're also asking. But yeah, it's wait, just wait. Hoard until we know for sure. Don't use Zetas. Don't needlessly gear up the Ewoks if you don't have to. So continue as is, just cautiously.
That's right. Cautiously say. Nah. All right. Next question for Warrior. Question from John Moran. Question: what's the easiest way to grind out Logray?
Let me look to see how he's farmable. I know he's farmable. I just can't remember which way that he's farmable. So let me look real quick.
I think it's a store, right?
It's
it's the guild store.
Yep, it's the guild store. So with someone like that, with the guild store, I can go back to the last character that I had a hard time farming out of the guild store, and that was Ray, the scavenger Ray, they now call her. And that was back before they put her on nodes. They have her on nodes and stuff now, so she's easy to farm now. But back then, the only way to get her when I first started was literally out of the guild store, and you had to wait because they would rotate characters in and out, which is what they continue to do to this day. And so I just had to keep an eye on the store. Now, I'm not going to get up in the middle of the night to try and get that one changeover, but there's 3 others I was able to catch every day because every 6 hours it changes, and so I would go in there and I would look 3 times a day to see the rotation and see who has it changed to, and then when I saw her I would buy her. So the same is true in the guild store. When you have them rotating like that, you just have to be hyper vigilant in checking the store at every changeover to check to see is that character you're looking for present. You also can get Logray from Forest Moon, the assault battle. He's a reward on that as well, and then you can get him in shipments for crystals if you're earning a lot of crystals in arena and stuff. But that's not the preferred way, obviously. But it would be a way to speed up progress. If you were short just before the event or something like that. So yeah, and then also. It's almost never happens, but he was actually added, I believe, to the bronzy impacts. It's like a 1 here, 1 there kind of thing. But over time, but the guild store shipments is really, you just have to be hyper vigilant and pay attention to that store, at least 3 times a day and see the rotation and then buy when available.
I'm sorry, I had myself muted. All right, next question to... Wait, is T-Money there?
She stepped away for a minute.
Okay, well then we'll go to you, Finn. Miro Yovchev has another question. Sorry I was late and I don't know if you covered this already, but what do you think about the leak that was right about almost everything? I'm curious about the mythic difficulty for raids. Not sure.
So what he's asking about? There was a leak where somebody, I think it was back in August, basically had guessed on, or we're saying guessed, but it looks like knew what was going to happen all the way up through December, and basically everything was right except for November, where they had a capital ship for Grievous and Grievous rework listed. This was also conspicuously, I don't know how else. It was just weird that Crumb had posted something basically saying CG Carry was working on a new kind of layout for the remainder of the road ahead, which seemed to be the reason why the road ahead was delayed. So the general thought, and again, not confirmed, but the thought was that they wanted to change it from this full leak that came out where everyone kind of guessed on what was going to happen. And they kind of just changed the Grievous rework aspect of it. And so far, that's the only part of the predictions that hasn't come right. This month, they had predicted C-3PO, OT Falcon, and what was called Mythic Raids. And we have nothing really to predict the Mythic Raids. But if we look at what it could potentially be, and we use events as a guideline for it, Rancor Raid has been around for a long time and been fairly easy up until this point. So it's possible that they're adding another tier to it that is what they would call a mythic tier, maybe increased difficulty, whatever it is, and allowing for maybe more rewards. And the rewards could be something as simple as like mod salvage or something like that. Again, just speculation. We have no details whatsoever on what a mythic raid really entails, but that was on the list of things that were going to be released in December. And so far of that leaked image, the only thing that hasn't come true was the stuff related to the Grievous stuff, and which they confirmed wasn't going to happen during this quarter. So what does it mean? Who knows? It's pretty much just a guess at this point. We're just using the term mythic to kind of copy it to how it was used for the events. And if you kind of just extrapolate it and use it onto what's going to happen with the raids, maybe just the Rancor, potentially for the heroic AAT, since they've been around for a while, they're going to add some additional rewards. And I think we've all been asking for another tier of some kind to these raids. So it'll be interesting to see if that's where they go with this. Would be a nice surprise, I think, if they do that, because there's really been nothing in the communication up until this point to even indicate that that's going to happen. So just, again, speculation completely based on a quote-unquote leaked image. Who knows what the validity of all of that was, because it had some value in the initial predictions. People thought it carried a little bit of weight, so we'll kind of see what happens with it.
All right, last question, then we'll get into some fun questions and close out. Xylo, Fat Tony 99 question: is everyone else with Revan dreading HSTR after Revan comes around again? I currently place top 3 with Revan every raid, but it's going to be much harder, and raid is already so short.
I mean, the raid seems like it's going faster and faster, and it's kind of at that point where, like, somebody referenced earlier. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember who referenced it, but you can score anywhere from like 8 mil to like 15 mil with Revan. You know, I think it's fun, but at the same time, like once that point of the raid's over and you're not trying to get high tier rewards, you just go in and throw a few teams in at that point. You know, it's or Sing's coming in and doing crazy damage now. She's free to play. I'm working on Aura Sing myself, and you know, I like to throw as many teams in to the raids that I can when I have the time. But there's going to be those times where you're not going to be able to raid, and there's those high damage output teams that come in and the raid's over in 30 minutes to an hour. And like I said, the time's going faster and faster and faster. And then with more characters released with, better kits too as well, the raids are going to go faster. And that's kind of why they're probably deciding to implement mythic tier raids. And, there's going to be more raids in the future too, like Orsing's topple mechanic. That'll be hopefully a feature for a newer raid. And, Revan teams will be a better feature for a newer raid too. Like when JTR was the first only team to come around and do high damage in phase 1. There's going to be Revan's going to be that team where he only is the team that you can run in this particular phase, and it's just with new characters come new mechanics and new advancements. So, well, if you're trying to score high damage, throw in everything you can and hope for the best. I try and throw in two teams at least in each phase, and it usually gets me top 5, top 10 in MC3. But when we were in MC2. It was hard to compete with those guys because they were even more competitive in the raid. So it's just a point of position and where you're at too. And with new raids around the corner, new tiers for the raids, it's going to be about what teams you have ready for those too. So we'll see what happens next.
All right. Now we get to the fun questions, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll start with Helenix, who has a question for Scissor Man Warrior. Any word on you guys, the Game Changers, getting access to the old test accounts back? Has CG said that they will no longer be available to you guys ever? Ever, never, ever?
No. So the Game Changer program is still the Game Changer program like it always has been. The only thing is a little bit ago, whatever it was, 6 to 8 weeks ago, they said that the test environment was going to be temporarily down. That was their official statement. That's it. It was just going to be temporarily down. Our, I guess you want to call him handler, our handler from EA that basically runs the program, that kind of is our liaison that tells us what's going on and stuff, keeps saying that, it's, things are progressing or whatever, and that soon we will have access again. So, I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure it'll come back, and I'm sure we'll have the test accounts again. Really, the test accounts were, for at least for me, mostly so I could actually go and test the new characters and stuff, and kind of, because I you want to have a first impressions video. You kind of want your first impression to be whatever you actually feel the character is gonna. When you get video footage like this last time, it's kind of difficult to get a good first impression, or maybe it was easy, I guess, with how bad it was played in still one. So maybe it showed Johnny better than she really was. So I don't know. Anyway, it's nice for that. I know for other people like Skeltrix and stuff, he likes it for his theory crafting on the raids. So he can kind of dig into the the different raid mechanics and different team comps and possibilities, so they can really showcase what characters you should be investing in long term or not. I'm less about the raids because I don't have the time to really play raids much at all. So, but yeah, I think it'll be a thing where they'll come back. I don't think that it's going to be forever, but who knows? That's all kind of a secretive, quiet thing. But it wasn't. It wasn't because of anyone that I'm aware of leaking. I know that was something that went around, that it was a bunch of us Game Changers leaking, or that Game Changers leak all the time. That's totally inaccurate and false. In fact, the purported leak that occurred back in August or whatever was an employee that quit or something. I don't know, or got fired. I don't know, but it wasn't a Game Changer. So I think that it's just about maybe creating different layers of test accounts to where maybe different test accounts have access to different things. Maybe, I don't know. Honestly, I think it's an engineering thing, because when they said they were going to build us test accounts initially, it took them months and upon months to do it. And when they pulled them, I think that they want to create like an environment for testers that's different than the environment for Game Changers. I think it's more a logistical thing, that they just want to kind of control information. And the way to do that is to have different environments, but then they have to build a whole new environment. And that's, to put it into perspective, like the time it takes for them to build a new raid, and have it tested and all of that, and then have it brought into the game and all that, it takes like 4 to 6 months. That's the same thing with environments, the test environments. And so I think they've been heavily working on this in the background, and that's why we haven't had them for a couple of months. And it's probably going to take a little bit longer to actually see them come back. But yeah, I don't think it's a permanent thing at all. I think it'll kind of return to status quo here not too long.
Okay. Mirrodin says, would Imp Troopers needed for C-3PO bring enough goodwill back to the game to make Ranger forget about the Revan release? Nothing will ever make me forget the Revan release. Ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. What else? 73 question: is Ranger sick or did he just go to the dentist? He only has cotton balls in his cheeks. Well, I am a little bit under the weather. The my allergies are killing me right now. I am congested as hell. So I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to drink, getting enough tobacco and nicotine in me to clear me up. But usually in the mornings, I am completely like my face is just swollen. It's ridiculous. Um, Hard to breathe. Darth Talak, my knacker question. Question for CG Carrie: if she shows, when will we get a place to sell gear and purple mats? I have over 300 purple mats, and it would be nice to have a place to spend them. So CG Carrie, if you're out there listening, there you go. Helnix, question for Finn. Did you see the YouTube video released yesterday at 10 p.m. EST that decoded CGB/Speed Crumb audio clue? I heard it was Algie Dumpling's favorite video ever. Derp, derpity, derp, derp, derp. Finn?
I was there. I was one of them that was the nerd that was decoding all of it. So, yes. I did hear about it. I heard about what it eventually ended up being. Like I said, I got stuck in the middle. I don't think I would have been able to complete it anyways, because I am not familiar with the Sulfa or the Sophia conversion that was needed afterwards. I got to the point where I was able to figure out it was like an ABC music conversion file, and then somebody took it from there and basically found out that I believe it was the same as the the music file that they also had put in there. It was basically the music for it, and then they converted it in some other different manner. So it looked like there were two ways of getting the exact same thing. So we never know. But I did follow it while I was doing that stuff. So yes, derpity derp 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 to you too.
All right. Durgan, question: could we get the floating chair as a ship for C-3PO? Yeah, along with the Ewok glider.
That would be hilarious. Oh my god.
Lots of Ewok gliders. Sir,
The floating chair.
They're having no effect, sir. Why? Because they're all dead in space. Oh my god. Decepticons. Finn, you have a Wicket on your bed. Is he being held against his will?
Nope, he is perfectly comfortable. And he plays with the Porg, too. I have several Porgs. So Wicket has ended up being friends with all of my different Porg, and they're all in different ones. So it was pretty awesome.
All right. From Matthew Vitalone, Revan Modding, question. Oh, only 800? Laughing my ass off. Well, yeah. It's not over 9,000. What else? 73. Should we change Finn's name to Finster, a copy of Finn and Hipster? Or maybe Dork Finster?
The hate for T-Money continues to grow.
Hey, hate for me? What?
Yeah, what?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, your hate. That's fine. I was like...
Wait a minute.
Calling me a hipster.
Decepticons, question for Warrior. What's an alcoholic Jawa say? I can't. It's early in the morning for this crap. Alright, and last one, Hellenix. Question for Darth Ranger of House J 1999. My lord, how can we turn Lady Adasha to the dark side? If she could be turned, she would be a powerful ally, a powerful Sith.
I actually know the answer to this one.
Oh, no.
Yes,
no.
Yes, Lady T-Money.
Yeah, we've decided that's going to be like...
My is trying to turn me too. What the heck? Why does everyone want me dark side?
Because the dark side
It's the same reason why everyone wants me to eat porg. It's just the way that it works, Adastra. They want to hate what we love. It's the way that they show their love.
Unleash your anger.
2 words. Okay, 3 words. Jedi Jar Jar.
No.
If we can get CG to introduce Jedi Jar Jar into the game, then Adastra will leave the Jedi Order and fall to the dark side out of a broken heart.
I will make it happen. Xylo, get my apprentice on this immediately.
Wait.
Oh yeah, he could turn her to the dark side.
That's right. Use his keenness against her. Put him in the black row. We got him, and make him go goo goo gaga at Lady Adastra. It's a powerful technique. All right, that's all the fun questions. So now we're gonna let everybody pimp their stuff. We'll start with our boy Scissor Man Warrior because he's getting ready to start work because it's 12 o'clock and it means it's 10 o'clock Mountain Central Time.
All right, so you can find me on Warrior Presents at YouTube, and you can find me on the Facebook chat as well as Twitter.
There you go. See, right to the point. Just gets there. All right, Lady Adastra, where can folks check you out at?
On YouTube, Jedi Master at Astra, where I post pretty much mostly Jedi-related content and Sith Raid. And well, recently I had a heroic tank one where a full Revan Jedi solo. I was so excited. At long last, pure Jedi murdering a raid. Just Jedi stuff. I'll probably have more arena trials. I've been kind of slacking on that lately. I have all these different tests I do in arena, and I like to post those too. It's mainly for my own reference, but people enjoy seeing what Jedi can do in arena, and them being meta now has been rather refreshing.
No, it isn't. Blasphemy. T-Money, where can folks check you out at?
Yes, we have good old Maurice and I have a channel together called Operation Metaverse. We stream every Tuesday night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we have a very active Discord server that you can find by looking in the description of our videos.
All right. And last but not least, Xylo Takedown and My Apprentice.
Yeah, you can come check me out on YouTube, Takedown Games. Just got OBS up and running, starting to do some live streams, got some videos on there too. Couple little Easter eggs here and there for you if you're a long-term mid-game player or anything like that too. I really appreciate you guys always having me on RSG too, and all the RSG viewers that support me too as well. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right. And then last but not least, Finn, if you could pimp our stuff, that would be most appreciated because my voice is going.
I think that's illegal in some states.
Is it really?
Yeah, pimping is legal and it's hard. I should actually say pimping ain't easy. I believe that's the correct verbiage.
All right, that's all philosophical and stuff. That's too much for me. I need more coffee, God.
All right, so thank you all for watching. This is the Reality Skewed Gamers RSG channel. Thank you all for watching and coming out. We do this every Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where we answer questions from you guys for about 2 hours. And we collect them. We have some fun questions too, like we did at the end. So thank you all for coming and asking questions, of course. If you check in the description of the YouTube video, you will find a link to all of the panelists here, plus the few that weren't able to join, such as Ramona Zab and Mike Hunt, obviously because of some personal things. So please make sure that you visit all of their channels, subscribe to them, watch their videos. They do spend a lot of time on their content. And of course, Warrior and T-Money of Operation Metaverse are game changers, so you will see a lot of the latest content about new characters and game modes from their channel, so definitely make sure you check those out. If you haven't already, please make sure to visit our website, realityskewegamers.com. From there, you will have a link to the RSG supporting the American Cancer Society page. It is our charity campaign for 2019. We've already started and we've been working very close with the American Cancer Society. We do have a challenge up from Warrior, who is willing to donate his Zeta for the good cause. Now, if you guys haven't known already, Warrior is not one to waste any kind of Zetas. So the fact that he's putting one up is definitely one that we appreciate. So if you guys go to the RSG website, again, realityskewegamers.com, and go to the RSG Runs for the ACS link that's on the front page, you'll be able to go to the Tiltify page, go to the challenges, and you will find where you can donate to help Warrior use his Zeta. Now, unfortunately, Warrior, Bodie Rook is currently in the lead.
Yeah, but people that love me can change that. All they've got to do is go and vote for Mission. They just have to go to the website for a good cause, vote for Mission, because they don't want to waste my Zeta. They know how nice I am. I gave Arnold T101 a Wampa Zeta as a punishment because I can't stand the thought of a wasted Zeta. And so the community's going to save me. They're going to come to my rescue and they're going to donate for Mission so that way I don't waste those precious little gems.
Well, that's no fun. That's not going to happen.
So I think we know somebody else that's
The
going to be
dark
voting
side
for
is
Bodie.
starting to take her over. This is good, people.
So please make sure you check that out. We have a lot of other fun stuff up there. We're also going to be adding, and I'm updating it this weekend, I'm going to be adding the challenge for Team Money's Compatriot at Operation Metaverse, good old Maurice. We're going to be setting up a half-hour time frame where good old Maurice is going to be dancing. And we're going to give you guys the opportunity to donate and request a dance of good old Maurice. And let's just be frank, good old Maurice is as white is, and him dancing is just going to be hilarious.
Or is it going to be painful?
It's going to be painful probably for him and hilarious for us. So
I think he might be a little bit of a dancer, though. He has been doing some research, just kind of seeing, what the new dances are these days. What the kids been doing. So, I'm thinking Crumpin'.
I'm telling you right now.
Taking this seriously. Nice.
Yeah. But he was hoping that you forgot about it. He said last night, he was like, I think they might have forgotten. I haven't said anything about it. It's like...
No, I have not forgotten. I have to work with Girl Maurice to figure out what time frame is best for him because we're working on the scheduling and everything, but there is going to be the time frame for it. So we're going to have that up there, plus we're going to have a bunch of other fun stuff. And don't forget, every dollar you donate, whether it's to the Direct American Cancer Society page or through the Tiltify, all the information, again, is on the website if you go to realityskewadgamers.com. Every dollar you donate is an entry into the giveaway for the awesome Mara Jade lightsaber that has been donated by Sword of the Jedi. It is basically machine made. It is friggin' awesome. I'm going to separate the video where Loki went through it in great detail and was pretty much drooling over the lightsaber. And if you know Loki, he makes lightsabers too, and the fact that he was gushing over this lightsaber, it's fantastic. So we'll have that as a separate video and everything. That's all being worked on this weekend. And so please make sure that you guys go and donate. And we'll have some stuff that only appears during the stream as well. Our mega stream is on December 15th. So that's 2 weeks from now. December 15th is when we'll be doing that. So make sure that you guys do come out and support not only RSG, but all of the people that are helping Warrior, good old Maurice. We have a bunch of other people giving things away, Sword of the Jedi, all for the good cause of the American Cancer Society and supporting our friend Sith Lord Stu, who was unfortunately diagnosed with thyroid cancer. He has had treatment. So we're very happy that he's in a good position right now. He is waiting for a test. I think at this point about 4 months or so, he's going to have another test to see if it's in remission. And that'll be, I'm hoping for very good news for him, obviously. But he also does have a lot of medical bills and stuff. So if you guys want to support him as well, there is a RSG stitched hat where the proceeds will go 50% to Stu's GoFundMe and 50% to the American Cancer Society. So you guys can do a lot of good here to help not only with cancer research, but help someone that is directly in this community that, of course, is very close to RSG as one of the founding members of Lord Stu, and help him as well. So come fight cancer for 2019.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We've all had cancer affect us in all, in different ways. We know someone, family members, friends, people we love, people we care about, and we all are just trying to do our part to combat this. And ACS is a great organization that helps people that are dealing with cancer, and we really want to make a difference, just like we did with American Suicide Prevention group. We're doing the same thing with ACS. So that being said, thank you all for being here. We really appreciate everybody's support. It means a lot to us. Make sure you check out our channel if you haven't already. Subscribe, and do me a favor, guys, just check out these other channels. These guys take the time out of their busy schedules to be here to answer your questions. Please support them as well. Give them thumbs up on the videos, subscribe to their channels, all that good stuff. It's about the community. It's about making us all together as one. So with that, thank you for being here on the Jedi Academy. Now I'm going to try to do some more Battlefront today, possibly. We are going to try to do a Heroes of the Storm Saturday night. Finn, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so we tried it a couple weeks ago, and we had issues with the streaming, but we managed to figure that out. We actually did it on Tuesday night PC gaming, and yes, McVenom, I said Tuesday, not Tuesday like I tend to do. So yeah, so we're gonna try again. We want to try and do a Saturday nights as Tuesday. I'm saying Tuesday now. Saturday night Heroes of the Storm. So we're gonna try again this evening, I think. So be on the lookout. We'll set up the event, I think, later today. So make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you can get the notification.
All right. So everyone enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We appreciate you, and we will holler at you later. Peace.
Yep. Have an awesome weekend, everyone.